Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. As it's Thursday, it's the Motorsport Show, and we building up a lovely car community that's very interested in all the topics that we cover. And if you'd like to be part of the show, get hold of me, Lukman at Hilaal.tv. From the Cape Town studios, I'd like to welcome you on Channel 347. Thanks for joining us. Now, if you remember when we first started the car show, the Motorsport Show, I had a legend in the industry, Brother Levy, who kicked off our car segment. And as they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We've decided to, and I remember him saying how proud he was of his kids that also took up racing, his son and daughter. And in studio, we'd now like to welcome Brother Anwar Levy. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Shukran for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Your dad is a legend in the sport as well, and obviously paved the way for so many people like yourselves and your other siblings as well. How did you, what sparked that interest? Because as much as your dad can say, listen, take up a spanner, change this wheel, come and help on the car, not everybody tends to want to be a car racer or a mechanic. What sparked this interest for you?
I think it was a natural progression.
Is it?
From a young age, from 5, 6, I went with my dad to the racetrack. So
right.
It was not an option. I wasn't going to race. I was
5, 6 years old.
Yes, my dad raced before I was born, so he was always at the racetrack. Okay. So our life was racing.
Right. So
I grew up at the racetrack. So
what is your earliest memory, if you had to think back, when you first started in this amazing world of racing?
It has to be main circuit. I won't remember my dad's early days with the rallying and with the stock car racing, but my early memories would be at Killarney racetrack.
Okay.
That's what I remember, from a young age,
Okay. Killarney is legendary. I mean, all the top racers from the Cape have raced there sometime with the other, various classes as well. So if you think back those earlier years, and if you think about those memories as well, the first time you stepped into a car to race, take us through that moment.
Oh.
Can you remember that far back?
Well, I can remember more of my dad's racing, but I started racing when I was 16.
Wow.
Okay, so I raced single seaters. The people I raced with was Mark Lead. He became South African champion. He was on Cape Town.
Okay.
And he went on to the UK and went to go very well in the overseas racing as well. That's somebody I started with. Okay. He did his first race and I did my first at the same time. But we were about 10 years. I was in single seaters, Formula Ford, Formula GTIs. That's where I started off my racing.
Okay.
And then after that, other people do the other way around. They started in karting.
Right.
And they go over to the main circuit. So I was about 10 years, 16 years on the main circuit. And that's what I'll try, I think, 2000.
Right.
So I was about 26.
Okay.
Then I went over to karting.
I see.
So that's the other way
What
around.
is the reason that people start with karting? Does it mold you for the other classes that you would then race?
Yes, I definitely recommend karting. Because karting is from 5 years old.
Okay.
So main circuit, you're going to start when you're about 16 or 18. So there are different classes in karting, 5 years old to 8 to 12, 12 to 16.
Okay.
So then you race within your age group. So it's a better progression, and then you learn as you go along. I think it's better to start karting first.
Okay, so it's a lovely progression until you get into the different classes. So over the years, I would imagine you've built up a fleet of cars and you've raced various cars. Take us through the history of your car collection along the years.
Okay, we race single seaters. So not many people would know the value of the single seaters. Last week watching a race is the international, was the Passion of Speed. It was in Pretoria last week.
Okay.
So I was speaking to my wife, and those cars of the 1970s are worth so much money now, all gone to the UK and to Australia. And we raced all these cars when we were younger.
Amazing.
Yeah, we had 7 of them.
Sure.
The value now is easy 300, 500,000 each.
Wow.
So I started off in a Ray. Then we did the Van Diemen. I raced the Swift. But it's all single seaters. So it's not our normal street car brands that you all know. Yeah. So after that, I did some karting. And then after karting, I did some motorbike racing as well.
Oh, okay.
Motorbike racing.
So what type of bikes were there?
I raced the Kawasaki in the 600 class.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had a fall, hurt my back, and then that's it, no more bikes. Stick to 4 wheels. And then we went to main circuit, and then I did Clubman's.
Okay.
And then we started off with a BMW.
Okay. So the current car that you race, what car is that? And take us through the specs of the car. I mean, when you first got the car to what it looks like now.
Okay, the car I raced 10 years ago in Clubman's first was a BMW E30.
Okay.
But the car I'm racing now at the moment is a BMW M3 E46.
Okay.
And also it has a turbo on, so it is quite fast.
That's the one we see on the screen right now.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. So take us through that car. What type of engine is it? What modifications did you have to do to race in this class? And there we go, working on the car as well.
Yeah, no, it's not a street car. It's far from a street car. Everything has to be changed. Power, about 400 kilowatts, 800 Newton meters. And if you do that amount of power, you have to change the gearbox, clutches, and with that, suspension, brakes. So it's not a street car,
Right.
but everything has to be done. So I practiced with the car today for the first time in a year.
Sure.
In Cape Town. So last year, me and Mansoor Parker, we raced with these two cars in the Gauteng Championship.
Okay. And how did you do there?
The year started off tough because we decided to leave our cars there. So it was difficult between races to prepare the car.
I see.
So when we came to the race, the car wasn't prepared well. So the first quarter of the year, we didn't do too well. Breakages but towards the end of the year, we started bringing the cars back and going back up again. And I think for the last 8 races, I won all 8 races.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks, yeah.
So how does that assist you in your driving career, in the championship? Are there points? How does that work?
Yeah, there are points that you're always a bit sad. It's such a slow start to the year and not taking that serious. But with me ending off so well, by the last race of the year, I was 1 point behind in second place.
Word. Ugh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I finished 3 points behind in second
You're going
place.
back to race that championship?
Not now, because they had one race last week. It was too early for us.
Okay.
The next one is in Ramadan, and the next one they're having is a day after Eid.
Okay.
So we might go after that. So it'll be the 5th race of the year, and then we won't be in the championship.
Okay. So the racing world is such a technical world as well. If you look at when you were 16 to, you know, what, 35, around there, how's the racing scene, if you look at the technology, if you look at the advancement, how has that changed over the years? Have you kept up? Did you have to keep up with the changes, or did you pretty much, stay the same for the last couple of years?
It's a package. The guy who can set up his car well and the guy who can drive well. So the guy who can drive a fast car is good. But if you give him a bad handling car, he won't be able to know what to do.
Gotcha.
So a guy who set up a car, he can go far because he knows where to make changes on the car. If you watch Formula One, the feedback, and this guy has 30 guys behind the computer telling him what to do, helping him make the car go faster. So you need a bit of both.
Okay.
But back in the day, it was go out, test the car, come back, test out, come in the car. But today, it is better because of all the computer management systems. So the guy comes in with his laptop after the session, plugs it in, and tells you, you're taking too early, you can go faster here. So it makes it so much simpler now. So
brilliant. So you welcome the technological advances and changes? Yes,
but it makes the driver a bit weaker.
Okay.
Because it doesn't need to give so much feedback. So they do stand out, the good drivers. So, but it is much better. It is cheaper to have this technology now in racing now. Yeah.
Okay. Looking back at your illustrious career, what advice do you have for someone that would like to get into the sport? Someone that's thinking about, you know what, I would like to get into racing. I feel I have the need for speed, if you want to call it, but I want to do it in the proper way. What advice do you have?
Firstly, just race for fun. Don't think you become world
It's an expensive
It's
sport.
an expensive
as well.
sport. People in South Africa that won SA Champ, they wanted to go overseas. They had to come with millions and talent. So it is a very expensive sport. So just do it for the fun of it. In Cape Town, we are so lucky compared to Johannesburg, and racing is cheap here in Cape Town. There are lots of entry level. I belong to the clubmans, and clubmans are cheap. Come with what you've got.
Brilliant.
It's very low maintenance. Also, we have every month Killarney offering street car track days. You can come with your road car, your wife's car.
Everyone says it's their wife's car.
Your wife's car,
Got you.
and
But
you
we know
can
whose
come.
car it is. We know who works on the car.
Never been raced, yeah. So they can come with all what you got, and then there are so many people who are offering these services. At Kulani, you'll have Paul Simon, and they with Motor Drive. There's Junaid, he has this traction driving school as well.
Right.
So there are lots of avenues you can do in Cape Town.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
In closing, any last message you want to leave to your family, friends who's watching this interview and that's maybe helped you on, with your career over the years?
I'd like to thank my dad. He has paved the way for us. As you know, he's a legend. He went through a lot to let us race in South Africa. And so also, I'm racing this weekend. We only got called up yesterday. That is the passion for speed, this international.
And your wife.
Yes, I'd like to thank my wife. I'm in trouble.
You have to. Family always plays an important part in the racing world, I would imagine.
I'd like to thank my wife, Camilla Bayat.
Anwar, thank you so much for coming into studio, for sharing your amazing journey. We hope to have you on very soon and maybe be part of the races that you are racing on very soon. Keep flying that flag high for South Africa and always be safe.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And there we go. Our first part of the Motorsport Show with Anwar Levy, racing driver in studio, chatting to us about his career. After the break, we chat to an artist who's doing amazing work in the motorsport industry as well. Do join us on the WhatsApp line 079 087 2511 if you'd like to send us a WhatsApp. WhatsApps only, no telephone calls. 079 085 2511. You are still watching Hilaal Live. It's the Motorsport Show.